There you go, salsa pressure in the corner. Didn't check his legs. Counter, he's going to be able to pick that up. No, missed the beat driver, but PRC saves the day. Oh, wow.
Okay,
OTG bull bash setup? Okay. I guess when you're one of the best in the world, you've got to think of everything. Kizzie Kay taking it 2-0 over the food.
Whoa! I'm feeling pretty good. Got the new lavaliers.
Got the coffee and
got the lavaliers, people.
Hey.
Me and Kizzie are hooked up with the lavaliers.
So nice.
Stepping up in the world.
That's an upgrade.
Kizzie keeps, so check this out, Kizzie keeps all the stickers and tags on everything that he has.
Yes, I do.
So, even my Astros, I've taken these off, and I was gonna do another.
I gotta keep it nice, man. You know, it always look new every time I use it.
Okay, well,
the price don't drop.
Yeah, I know, but like in 2 years' time, when you get a new pair, you're gonna be like, why do these still have?
It's still brand new.
I understand. All right, so we got the man bag, so that we don't get too comfortable with each other, because I like Kizzie a lot.
Oh, man, I like you too, man. I don't think this bag gonna hold me back, but you know, we could try.
Yeah, this is true. Nothing can hold you back, I'm sure. So here's the deal, guys. This is the first interview, actually. I don't know if it'll be the first one I put out. I'm not sure, but this is the first time trying the lavaliers. I thought I'd try them first with Kizzie because he's laid back and doesn't get, too bent out of shape about things like that. And also, like, you just cover so many games.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be an interesting time to talk to you in that regard. So I want to ask you, first straight off the bat, before we get into historical stuff, I want to ask you, how many games are you currently playing?
So I'm playing about like 5 or 6.
So which games?
So I'm playing Street Fighter.
Okay.
Well, my main games is, Guilty Gear, Dragon Ball, Blaze Blue Cross Tag, Street Fighter, Tekken, and I'm playing Dissidia.
Yeah, I don't understand. Okay, so I don't understand how you have time to play all those games.
It's hard.
So how do you have time to play all those games?
So one of the things that I really do is like I have a lot of friends like from like multiple games, and they're really good, right? So I kind of use them like I ask them, hey, let's play, and like I will play them a lot, and I like ask questions, right? And since most of the games are like kind of like brand new now, they're not really hard to play, right? Yeah. They're not hard to get into. It's hard to like master them, right? Yeah. But if you have the right like mindset and like kind of like the right people to talk to about things that you have questions for, if you answer the questions correctly, you'll get your answer correctly, right? Right. So it becomes like a less like time, more quality. You know what I mean? Less time, more quality in the games, rather than you spend countless hours doing something and then like you're wrong about it, Okay,
I understand that concept because I use the same thing for interviews.
Oh,
so like I was explaining to you, like I'll go into a tournament and it could be like I have a hit list of 10, but I only get 2 of them, and then there's like 20 possibles also on my list, and then it's like, but how do I like prep for like 20 people? You just can't.
Right.
So I hit up my friends nowadays who I trust, and I'm just like, what should I ask Kizzie Kay? What should I ask Speed Kicks? Because it's impossible for one human being, I feel like, to be able to do all that prep in the time needed.
Right.
And it sounds like you're doing a similar sort of thing with the games. It's like you utilize your friends and have fun.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it too, I'm sure, just interacting and sharing their knowledge and all that sort of stuff. So, I know everyone has a different approach to getting better at games. Some people are like online warriors who sit at home and just read and read and read and read, and that's how they consume media, and they just do it on their own.
Yeah.
But yours is more like a friendship thing.
Yeah, like if they're really smart and I know I could trust their words, I would like ask them like very important questions, right? And like they'll kind of like explain it to me. And I ask like, hey, can you give me an example? It's kind of like a teacher, right? So like, you raise your hand, you ask a question, right? The teacher, answer, solve it out for you. You understand. So it's kind of like how it works, and it's kind of like what I'm doing now. It's like I'll talk to my friend, and he'll give me an insight and a perspective, and it makes sense, right? So then I just implement it while I play.
Do you play all the games? So one of the questions that I've been asking ever since I spoke to Kill Sage, because he had a problem with switching between games, like, do you play? How do you switch between games? Because I find that hard. Do you find that easy? Like,
it's pretty easy.
Like in terms of like inputs and like muscle memory and all that shit.
Muscle memory. So the kind of design characters that I kind of play, they all have the same design, right?
Yeah.
Their design is not really like different. There's only a few games that are different, right?
Okay.
So when I play similar characters from different games, it doesn't really like affect me a lot. The only time that it could affect me is, say, for example, my character is hard to use and my execution is kind of bad, right? Because I haven't practiced enough, right?
Yeah.
So I'll have to like spend a little bit more time on this type of character because the execution barrier is really it's hard.
Okay.
But in terms of like the games, most of the games that I play and I can bounce off to, I play very like straightforward characters. So it's not really like a hard thing to like jump into. The only thing that's really hard to get into is like my spacing. Like, is my spacing on point? Okay, all right, cool. I need to adjust my spacing in this game because my spacing I'm implementing a different spacing in another game. So I have to like reevaluate myself a lot.
But what about combos and like, like with button layout and all that stuff? Because to me that's crazy hard.
So usually I have the same button layout for all my games, except for, of course, Street Fighter because it's a 6-button game.
Right.
But since I was kind of like born and raised playing Street Fighter, like, like in arcades and like, it's just like bum, 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 bum. It's really like simple, right?
Yeah.
And as far as anime games that I play, I use one like type A layout. So like most of the times my buttons are the same. So I don't really change them. Yeah, it's like the extra buttons that I switch around with.
All right, I gotcha. All right, let's go back because I want to go. So, Kizzie Kay is. So your name is, what's your?
Keenan Kizzie.
Keenan Kizzie.
Yeah.
And then Kizzie Kay, how did that happen? Like the name.
So I was So when I was an online warrior, I wasn't always Kizzie Kay. I was Boogaloo.
Boogaloo?
Yeah.
Why were you Boogaloo?
Because I like Boogaloo Shrimp. That was a cool name, and I was like,
I don't even know what Boogaloo Shrimp is.
It's an old thing, man.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so when I went outside, when I stopped like playing online a lot.
Yeah.
Before I used to go to arcades like Arcade Infinity and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I was only a kid,
yeah.
So like nobody really knew me who I was. I used to just go up there and just play.
Yeah.
Right. But when I actually started like going to like actual tournaments and stuff like that, I had to switch my name because I was like, you know what? Like I need to like start fresh, right? Like I want to like start fresh on something, right?
Yeah,
I want to be impactful. What is an impactful name, right? And I remember that I always hated my last name because when I was young, all of my teachers and stuff like that used to call me Mr. Kizzie.
Okay.
Or they call me they never called me by my first name.
Okay.
So I always thought like when I was young, I'm like, why they call me by my last name? That's whack, right? I hate that, right? But then as I thought about it, a lot of people did like my name too. It's like, oh, Kizzie, that's a cool name, right? And,
yeah.
They're like Kizzle, Bizzle, they start all these little nicknames and stuff like that, right? So I was like, you know what? Maybe my last name is very impactful. But then what I need to do, like, I can't just be Kizzie. That's boring, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, Kizzie Kay. I was like, yeah, but I don't want to have like one letter. And I was like, oh, you could just type it in as Kay. So I just mixed it like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to rock with this until,
and then
till the end of time.
And then it took off.
Yeah, it took off, dude. I didn't expect it to take off as fast as I thought it was. I thought, like, man, I still had a lot of time, stuff like that. I was like, when you have like this end goal in your head, you're always not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're always like, there's always something new, and you push yourself to something else.
I actually associate it with, I think after Combo Breaker maybe 2 years ago, when did you make Top 8 in Guilty Gear or something like that?
Which event?
Combo Breaker, maybe?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and then there was like some meme going around which was like, this timeline has been blessed by Kizzie Kay.
That was CEO.
Oh, that's CEO?
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
CEO. Yeah, that was CEO.
I remember seeing the meme and I was like, this is such a cool meme. Like, I loved it.
That was bad.
That was dope. You made top 8 in...
I got second. That
got second? Okay.
Yeah. I lost to Dogura.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just like I beat Kazunoko.
Oh, you
and
did?
Then I was,
okay.
I was teamed up with Kid Viper, and it was very close. And then, I was able to pull through from there.
Yeah.
And then I dropped the ball against Dogura.
Do you see it as dropping the ball, or did you feel like it was your fault, or
yeah,
do you feel
it was
like
definitely
it was
my fault.
Was
it was a lot of my fault. So I was like, damn, I dropped the ball.
Well, at least you're able to say like it's your fault rather than blaming the monitors or the pads or the fucking...
It was monitor or not, it is what it is. I was definitely not winning.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch that match. So let me ask you, let's talk a little bit about your history. How did you get into fighting games? Like, what's the story behind that?
So when I was young, I used to play even when I was like 10 years old and stuff like that. I used to play like a lot of like competitive games that wasn't kind of like fighting games, like Bomberman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to play. My sister was kind of like my role model.
Puzzle game. It's more like
a puzzle battle.
Puzzle battle.
Yeah. So. My older sister was like, she always was like good at games, right? And I was like, as a younger brother, you get inspired by your older siblings, right? So I was like, oh, that seems interesting. Let me try that out, right? And so we played, we was playing each other and stuff like that, right? And she would always like whoop me, like beat me down. I used to cry. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling right now. This loss, this salt. What is this? You know what I mean? Like I'm a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? So yeah. So long story short, she motivated me. I wanted to improve myself, right? So I had to prove myself to the lion, right? I wanted to show her that I am no cub. Like I am a lion too. So
you wanted to be a lion?
Yeah, I had to show her that I wanted to be the lion, right? So I beat her, and I felt good about it. And I was like, yeah, like,
But what was your strategy as a young man to be like, okay, I need to beat her? Was it just to play a lot, or was it to study up on it? Or
so what I did is I used to play by myself, right? And I used to learn by playing the CPU.
Okay.
So as I got better, how to patterns, my brain kind of had like an autopilot, right?
Okay.
Like how to go around and set something up. When this happens, you do this. You start abusing this and stuff like that. So my mind kind of okay, I'm ready, right? And I caught her right after school too. So she came home and I was like, yo, Tracia, you want to play? And she was like, all right, I'll play you real quick before I do my homework, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right. so I was like, all right, cool. So I played her. I iced her up. Yeah. I was really happy. She was actually she was not happy actually. You know what I mean? We got into a fight after that.
Really?
Yeah, she was not happy about that.
Oh,
but God. So as I grew up, I started getting into fighting games like KOF, Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo, stuff like that. My dad used to really buy games and he noticed that when I was playing my sister, I had a lot of interest in it, right? So, the generation was kind of changing. So, he was like, oh, I'm going to buy him this game and, see how it works, right? So, I was playing Street Fighter on the Sega and Super Nintendo. I used to go to the arcades and play, Metal Slug and KOF. I was always, playing. You know what I mean? I was always, hitting the arcades and stuff
God,
like that.
Those are the days. You just made me feel that
And you remember back in the day, I didn't grow up in a good neighborhood, so I always used to have to it was either I was playing basketball or I was going to arcades, right? Yeah. So when I went to arcades, the whole mindset was who was going to be number one on the leaderboards, right? Yeah. The top 5, right, or the top 10 that was important. You get to see your name on the first page, right? Yeah. So everybody in the block, we all we'll go on a day that we're not going. Say for example, I know my friends to go on Tuesday. I'll go on Wednesday. Yeah. To see who's on the leaderboards. So we used to try to get the highest leaderboard. And then when we realized like, okay, that's what we were doing, we start playing each other.
Yeah.
So then when we start playing each other, it was like, if I put this quarter in, like, either I beat somebody and get a high score, or I lose and then they beat my high score.
Yeah.
So now it was like a competition, like who's gonna win and get the highest score that day.
So you being ultra competitive.
This is when I was like 12 years old and stuff like that. This is crazy, right? Yeah. I was like, man, like kids are thinking like that. I was like, yeah, we actually had it planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start going to tournaments and stuff?
Yeah, so like around high school, I was like so after I tore my shoulder like playing football, I kind of like, didn't know where to like really go outside of like online. I was just like, just playing online games, right? Yeah. So when I ran into these arcades and stuff, I was like, yo, this is sick, you know what I mean? But it wasn't for the leaderboards anymore. It was about like who's the best in the block, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of course when I went up there, I got trashed on because I was like, yo, these guys are like, they're unfair. They cheated. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen this before, right?
Yeah.
So then I set my goal. I set a goal. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a cheater like them. You know what I mean? That's what was my mindset, right? So I was like playing online and stuff like that, like grinding really hard and stuff like that. And then I started meeting like a lot of like the FGC people. Okay, it was just like, oh man, you have a lot of potential. Like you're hungry. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just like, man, I'm just trying to win. Like,
what were you playing, man?
I was playing Street Fighter and KOF 13.
So Street Fighter 4 and
Street Fighter 4 and KOF 13. Yep.
Okay, who were you maining in those games?
I played Guy, and then for KOF 13, I played K-Dash, I played Iori, and I played Kill.
Okay.
So I had like.
What made you play Guy?
I just like his archetype, and then like I like the shoes.
What, like Rushdown kind of thing?
It was more of like his pressure string is more of like, are you hesitant to kind of like do something? He's like a hit and run character.
Okay.
Right, where he hits you and he runs away, but then he comes back in and he hits you.
Okay.
And he kind of like hesitant of like what you want to do, right?
Okay.
He kind of like makes you feel that way, right? And make you choose an option.
Gotcha.
But as far as that, yeah, I played him. I used to play Ken, right? Because he wasn't in Super Street Fighter 4. But when Super came out, I dropped Ken and just went straight to Guy. So that's who I rocked from there. As far as KOF, yeah, K-Dash, Iori, and Kel.
Okay. So did you feel like it just sounds like you've done a lot of grinding, right? So like it doesn't sound like you came onto the scene and were like, okay, I see the Matrix, and I'm a natural and I'm going to destroy everybody. It sounds like you just played a lot of different games and have grown from that and have been grinding.
Yeah.
So has your mindset always been I can achieve whatever I want, or did you learn something from the games? Did you gradually feel like there were moments where you overcame certain things?
Yeah, at a young age. I feel like I overcame some of the hard things that a lot of people are probably going through today.
Okay.
And when you experience it as a young age, it becomes like second nature, right?
Okay.
Where it's not hard anymore. Like now you understand how this works. It's like, what are you going to do about it?
Okay.
You got to ask yourself that. What are you going to do about how are you going to improve here? What are you going to do right here? You know what I mean? Like, what are you like? You know what I mean? You ask these questions you ask yourself these questions and you answer it. And, and you play quality time. And you put the quality time into the game.
So that's sort of like how you're circling back. That's sort of how you're able to play so many games, is that you're able to ask the right questions.
Right.
And the fact that you've been playing so many different games all this time is probably one of the factors that leads you to be able to switch between games so easily.
Right.
Anyway, so let's move on, because that's fascinating, especially the Bomberman story with your sister. Has she ever gotten over that? Is she all right now?
Nah, she's not.
Did she quit video games? Did you make her
she did.
Yeah, that's what I did to my brother.
She actually, it's funny. She quit. She plays Call of Duty. So
Call of Duty. Yeah. My brother's the same. He plays Battlefield. He quit.
Crazy, right?
He plays Battlefield and he quit Street Fighter for sure.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I'm not even that good, but I managed to beat him, which was great. I like that. Sibling rivalry has been actually a subject of a lot of my interviews recently. When we've talked about history, it's always been a sibling rivalry that's really kicked it off. That person who's right there. And nowadays, you don't necessarily have to have a sibling. You can have the online rivalry, but having a sibling is especially helpful because
it is.
They're annoying as fuck.
It is.
All right, so why fighting games over other games? Because you've already admitted that you played a lot of different games. What eventually led to just it being fighting games? Why do you play Call of Duty and stuff like that?
So before I used to play, before I started going out, like I said, I was an online warrior. I used to play Gears of War a lot, and I actually was playing game battles very hard and heavy, right? So I used to play GB a lot, and I used to play that competitively, right?
Okay.
So, and what happened was there was a time where we started doing our separate things, like my team.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing our separate things, right? So I was like, well, again, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. So I was practicing that. So I bounced off from a different genre and started playing from there.
Okay.
But as far as I don't know, the personality in fighting games is just so it's so much freedom,
Mm.
It's you, it's yourself.
Self-expression.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's so...
This keeps coming out, this theme, this idea of self-expression is really important.
It's really important.
And
I think it is.
In other games, they're starting to bring it in via actually DLC. So Fortnite is all about the little dances and the fucking customizing my character and all that sort of stuff. It's all self-expression. It's how can I individualize myself in this environment? And fighting games, it's always been that way.
Right.
It's I'm going to pick this character, I'm going to pick this color, and I'm going to do these combos. And this is going to be my style, and it's self-expression. So
exactly.
that makes sense. Okay, so this is a random question because I realize that we have limited amount of time, so I'm just going to move back and forth and around the place.
Okay, that's cool.
Do you have a historical... Because here at SCR... I'm quite excited at the fact that it's the 20-year anniversary of when Daigo first came to America. That was 1998.
It's kind of crazy.
Wild, right? So 20 years ago, Valle, Daigo, probably the first international esports event, I guess, the champion of Japan versus the champion of the US. That was 20 years ago. So then it got me thinking, well, historical matches are really interesting. Do you have a historical match which doesn't involve you? I know I'm springing this one on you, but do you have an historical match that you sometimes watch or you think about, you sometimes go back to and you think, wow, that was pretty wild?
I go back to, I think one of the matches that really got me in the mind of the wheel of fire. It's when Snake Eyes OCB NordCal.
When was this?
This was in AE 2012.
Right.
This was I want to say SCR. It's SCR. It was Team SoCal versus Team NordCal, and he OCV NordCal.
Okay.
He was the last. He was the last player.
Oh, he was the last player. That makes more sense now. Yeah.
And he went to town with Geef, man. Everybody got scooped.
So that's one you would suggest people go take a look at?
Yeah, man. I think that match was... I don't know how.
Who did he beat?
It was Ricky Ortiz, Justin, and Pierre Barrock.
Okay. All right. So that is your historical match that everyone should go out and watch and check it out. And I'll try and find a link for it and put it down below. You seen the Daigo Valle footage?
You talking about the one when they had that interview and they played?
Yeah.
I seen a little bit of it, but I couldn't really I watched the match, but I didn't watch what they really talked about. I didn't know what they were saying. I know.
Okay.
I know they had I know Valle was saying something, but I couldn't really hear what he was saying because it was a really old footage, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what he was saying, but I watched the match. That was
Did you find the environment surprising? Did it?
Nah.
The environment.
That's kind of normal.
The environment reminded you of like when you were growing up? Or?
Yeah, that was kind of normal. I actually liked it that way. The environment was pretty good.
Did you like the wife beater?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And the freaking the Dickies, man. Yeah, I was like, yo, I see you, bro.
Yeah, it's funny. That footage is so funny, man. I love it. All right, so normally I would usually pick one game and be like, get in depth with it, but you play so many different games. I think we'll try and talk a little bit more broadly. So tell me the ones that you were entered for this tournament at SCR.
So SCR, I am playing Dragon Ball, Guilty Gear, and Blaze Blue Central Fiction.
Right, and you are doing that because I believe you said to me that you didn't want to play anything that had been patched recently. Is that right?
Yeah. So I was going to start entering cross tag when the patch is actually playable, like in tournament.
Okay.
So it's going to be after CEO Taku, which is next week.
Yes.
So I plan on entering that game and competing.
Okay.
There.
So we got the Arc Revo Tour. Did you get excited when you heard about that?
I got extremely excited. Yelling, dude. I was all over the place.
I thought you might have. So tell me, with the Arc Revo Tour on the horizon, which games are you now, as a pro player, which games were you think you're going to focus in on?
That's a hard question, but...
Because everyone wants to focus in on Street Fighter because they're like, all right, the reality is I need to make money as well. And it's popular, but you now got more and more games, whereas there's a tour going on, there's going to be streams, there's going to be, sponsors, there's going to be, it's more valid.
Right.
It's more legitimate.
Right.
So
I'm thinking that I'm going to be playing Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and both of the Blaze Blue games, right? And I still want to play...
Tag and Blaze Blue.
Yeah,
okay.
Tag and Blaze Blue. And I still want to play Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy Dragon Ball?
I enjoy it, yeah.
You enjoy it? Which game are you enjoying the most at the moment?
I want to say... It's hard. Because...
Is Tag enjoyable? Because I haven't played much Tag.
Tag is enjoyable.
It is?
But it doesn't really it doesn't really have my heart,
It doesn't, okay.
Yeah, like games that really have my heart is like Guilty Gear and it's like, I want to say Tekken.
Oh, Tekken does?
But
that would take some work, right?
Actually, it's not that hard for me.
That's a really interesting thing because I found that Tekken, it seems like there's this delineation between people who get it and people who just kind of don't get it. And I'm talking very broadly here because I'm not a Tekken expert, and I'm going to talk to some Tekken players about it because that's going to be one of my questions, I think. But I do find that interesting. There seems to be some people out there who are just like, this is too deep, it's too hard, I don't get it, I can't react, I can't blah, blah, blah. And then you've got other people who just pop out onto the scene and are amazing.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just confused about that.
I honestly think it's just like you remember how I said once you get over that hurdle at a certain time, the earlier you get over the hurdle, the easier things become. It doesn't become like extremely complicated. It becomes like clear. You need a little guidance, but it'll become clear.
Okay. So let me ask you a question about Guilty Gear. There's been talk of there being a new Guilty Gear. There was at EVO, they had said they were working on something Guilty Gear, and there's also been a statement made, I believe, by Arxis. I think it was Arxis, not 100% sure, but I believe Arxis said something along the lines of Guilty Gear is a little bit too complicated for people, and we need to think about how to make it more accessible. Those might not be the right words, because people get a bit scared of the word accessibility. But
yeah.
Are you concerned at all?
A little bit, yes.
In what way? Because you've seen Arxis do Dragon Ball, you've seen Arxis do BB Tag. Those are some of the latest things that Arxis have done. What's on your mind?
So my mindset on like accessibilities and stuff like that, I think like Blaze Blue Cross Tag, like when the developers was like making the game and like the people like who are directing the game, they made a comment saying that don't think this is a Blaze Blue game. Don't think of it as a Blaze Blue game, right? Think of it as its own game, right?
Okay.
Now, I like that idea because you make an accessible game that it's its own game, right? It's not like a predecessor or like a successor of like this game, right?
Yeah.
Say for example, like you know how like Street Fighter did with like Cross Tekken, how Cross Tekken was like a spin-off, but it was a good game, right? But it had its own like accessibility, like you know, like with the gems and stuff like that, and the auto combos and stuff like that, right? But they didn't make like Ultra Street Fighter 4 like auto combo based, right? And they didn't make like 5 like auto combo based, right? But they, you know, like the spinoff is, right? It's its own game.
Yeah.
But when you start like adding it into like the new games, like, oh, this is a part 2 of this game, but it's like extremely more easier now. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people who are like very like hardcore about it, it's like, man, it's like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like what direction is it going? You know what I mean? So personally, the only thing I'm afraid about is like if this is the following up of like what we're playing now, right? Or it's his own brand new game. Like if this is own brand new game, I'm actually all for accessibility, right? But if it's like a follow up from like what the game originally, then it's gonna turn a lot of people off who've been waiting for a new game.
Are you concerned about auto combos? Like, are you concerned they're gonna start throwing that into the mix? Like, do auto combos bother you?
Auto combos don't really bother me.
No.
It depends. Like Dragon Ball auto combos are actually insane when I think about it.
They feel like they're pretty.
The autocorrect is.
Oh yes.
It's like
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of when I play that game sometimes I just laugh. Like I don't ever get mad. I just laugh. Like man, I can't believe that happened. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, you just gotta laugh it off. But in terms of like a well-designed auto combo, it's not really that bad. It's actually okay. It's definitely not the end of the world for games.
Because to me, I'm like, that's the first thing I think of when I think Guilty Gear. I think maybe that'll be it, like auto combos. Or
I was thinking like auto combos, but it's funny because they have like a different type of like stylish. It's called stylish, right? Where you can like press one button and like and it'll do combos for you.
Okay.
So I don't understand like I think having that, it shouldn't really like, you know what I mean? Like you should already have like an idea like, okay, well I'm going to implement this and then I want to push it to the general audience, but they don't push it, Now they want to make a game where it's strictly implied into it. You know what I mean? So like everybody could do it. Like you have to do it now. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's cool. I'm not really tripping about it.
Yeah, so you not yet, at least. I guess we'll see what happens. Let's talk about Dragon Ball real quick because we had a patch with Dragon Ball last month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple of new characters, base Vegeta, base Goku, and I guess it was a significant balance patch, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the patch? Good.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, much
needed.
needed.
Tell me why it was good.
Variety. Like it created like the quality of life of characters that needed something. Got it.
Okay.
And then the quality, like some of the characters that were too good, toned down. The same.
Okay.
The same, toned down.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then every other character got like higher things. So like now you can see like all these like extra new teams and like stuff like that, and it's not stale anymore.
What was the most significant change in your mind?
I think, despite like the size, like the nerf, I think the training mode option was like, oh my goodness, like having like all these like settings to like trust like for training dummy. I think that was the biggest change. Why?
Okay.
Because now you could kind of understand how to get out of certain situations and stuff like that, rather than like, oh, I think I got it right, but like. I'm like you don't know if your timing is like fixing the whole problem. You have to record one recording and then like do it all over again. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like hard to like see if something is like right or not, right? I think that was the biggest change, and I think like characters just getting like a lot of like buffs, and it wasn't like completely like killing off characters.
Okay.
Where it was just like, oh, Cell, well we're gonna take this. So we got 10 nerfs. Oh, we're gonna give him one buff. And then, like, you know what I mean? That's not fun, right?
Yeah.
But they toned down a lot of things. They made him a little slower, but they kept him the same.
Okay.
His gameplay's still the same. So I like that. So
can you still do the loops?
Yeah, you could.
Because that's the only thing I learned in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
That's where I spent all my time, was just doing cell loops. That's all I ever used to do, is turn it on, do cell loops.
Yeah, cell loops is still available.
All right. So the main change, has it changed the meta or is it just the variety?
I don't think it changed the meta, no.
Okay, so you still you still want to get people into block, you still want to kill off their characters, the first character as soon as possible?
Yeah, that doesn't change.
Okay.
Depending on the team, that doesn't change, yeah.
Okay, which characters do you think are there any characters that are now viable when they weren't, and there are any characters who have become unviable?
I think there are new viable characters. I think Tien is more accessible for teams.
Okay.
I think base Vegeta and base Goku are accessible for teams as well.
Okay.
I think Krillin is a little accessible to new teams now.
Oh yes.
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot of YouTubers out there who love Krillin.
Yeah,
I think Dato Doyer and JM Crofts if they're out there.
Yeah, dude. Like, so now you have little Krillins running around.
Yeah.
With their little solar flares, you know what I mean, blinding people.
Yeah.
As far as that, everybody else just got quality of life. That's all they got.
Okay.
It's just like good changes. Now they're just able to like compete now because all the characters are like toned down.
Are there any characters where you go, all right, this guy is super strong?
Ginyu.
Ginyu?
Ginyu, dude.
Yeah, because Ginyu, people were saying...
The Ginyu Force, man.
Really?
They just come out like dancing on you and you just got to hold
That's going to be fun.
The Ginyu Force,
That's going to be fun for a spectator to watch. I think. I don't know, but we'll see.
The Ginyu Force, they are here.
Okay. Balance patches in general, when you're a pro player, right? You live and die on balance patches. How do you feel about balance patches? Because you're a pretty chill person. Some people freak the hell out. How do you generally respond to balance patches?
Well, I always think to myself, I always think to myself, man, so what is really strong about my character, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll like go by like process elimination, right? What's really strong about my character? Okay, this might probably get toned down, whatever. Okay, what is like a problem with my character that I think I have, right? And I'm speaking this from like me optimizing my character, right? From like point A to point Z, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I think these are the issues and stuff like that. And I was like, well, maybe these issues can be fixed while toning down this, right? Yeah. And I kind of like have it in my mind that, my character should be fine. The archetype is so like solid, it's really hard to like kind of like weaken him, right? Yeah. They just tone him down a bit, which I'm okay with because I'm good enough to just like be good at what I'm doing, right? I don't need like to make sure that, oh man, like I'm like sitting here like shaking and stuff, like please don't nerf my character, you know what I mean? Like I'm cool with it, man. Like they tone down my character archetype, I'm still gonna do work unless they sat there and like took both of their legs off and like arms, and they just left me with like like a person just with his chest. Then I'm dropping the character. You know what I mean?
So you'll switch.
Yeah. If worst case scenario, they just sit there and just like butcher him.
I mean,
and they have to go out their way and butcher them.
So you have a character archetype, which you were explaining before with Guy, which it sounds like it's one of those ones who keeps you guessing, is going to come in and out, come in, get out again. Is that right? Yeah. So like for Guy, it's kind of he's kind of like a hybrid Shoto in a sense, but he's a little bit more differently designed, right? Because he don't have a traditional projectile, he don't have a traditional Shoryuken, but he kind of has like a move that beats projectiles. So it's like an anti-projectile. Yeah. And then his Shoryu is like a meter Shoryu, right? Okay. So like he still has that archetype a little bit, but he has to play more of the mid range, right? Okay. He has to like kind of like lock you down with normals, you know what I mean? Rather than like your fireball pokes, right? Right. So he has to kind of use his like normals more often, and he has to kind of use his special moves to kind of like get himself in. Okay. And out of the map. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is this, right? So you have an archetype, right? Which you play in every game, presumably. And so you're kind of a character loyalist, but at the same time, if you get hit too hard with nerfs, the reality is I'm not going to sit around, kind of losing in pools with this character. I'm going to switch. Yeah, like I will make a final verdict. Like I will sit there and like practice really hard, and if I feel like wow, like I could just lose like this because my archetype is unstable,
then I'll have to like put it down because I can't sit there and like pretend that like this is okay. This is not okay.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like we need to fix this, right? And like I said, it'll take. Luckily, the games that I play, my archetypes are really always like at worst A tier. Like I don't feel like I really played like a B tier character in a long time. Like
okay.
So like the archetypes are always like good, right?
Okay.
So
play a top tier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say.
I know that's a bit of a meme.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean to throw. I don't mean to.
I think you could like. I think play a top tier is good, but I also think play a character that is just well rounded is way better.
Okay.
Like have every
Options.
every option for every situation, but don't have to just be like top tier.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
kind of
No, I mean that's smart. Sounds smart to me. I want to ask you, what is your FGC unpopular opinion?
I think every like main tour event that's going to be like going from here to like 2019 should have like a exhibition like promotion for an event. Like say for example, like hey man, like final rounds. You know how final round make an announcement and stuff like that. I think they should do like exhibitions, like to like keep people like bring people out to like watch and stuff like that.
You mean like first to tens?
Yeah, but it don't have to be 10. It could be 5.
Or teams, or like
or teams. Yeah, like big. Like
what do you think should be on the line?
Like I think bracket rights is already good. You know what I mean?
It's good.
Like Team Japan versus Team USA.
Why do you think that's an unpopular opinion?
Because
that just sounds like an opinion.
I think
that just sounds like an idea.
I think it's unpopular because I don't think a lot of people are talking about it.
Okay, so what you're saying is, I get you.
Yeah.
So you're unpopular in terms of like, no one's talking about this, and we should be doing this.
Yeah, it should be done. It's like look at Topanga League, for example.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
We should be doing like exhibitions or something like that. Well, I'm not asking for a league, right? I'm asking for like just like hype these like Street Fighter players up. You know what I mean? Like Team Young Blood versus Old School. Like who would want to watch like Valle like fight like. Like
hype up the players, because it does hype up the players more, because you get to focus in on certain players like Sonic Fox and Goigi or whatever, like or a Beef or something like that, like something. Okay, I gotcha. Have I ever asked you about favorite players, like favorite players that all time or like current favorite players?
Yeah, but I think my favorite players are still the same. Like I still like Justin. I like Snake Eyes. K-Brad, all those guys, man. Those guys are still my favorite players. And it's probably because I was like, when I got into the FGC, those were the kind of like the guys that I wanted to be on that level, And they still kind of like, I'm still like kind of like fighting for that goal, Like in a sense, I still am.
What do you think you need to do that? Do you ever think about like maybe? I mean. This is the most obvious question, really. Like, do you ever think about maybe taking those 10 games that you love and playing 2?
Yes, I did.
And do you think that'll make a difference, or are you going to get bored, or?
I think it'll make a difference.
So, is that something in your consideration set?
Yeah, it is.
All right, you give me that look like I don't want to reveal anymore, which is fine. It's fine. Secret pro player stuff going on, but yeah, maybe that will help. You got any advice for people when it comes to being in a pressure situation against a player that is a legend or something like that? Do you have any sort of, how do you get yourself in in a winning mindset or a way of relieving the pressure, or do you have a way of, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you have a way of like dealing with a situation like that?
Yes. So I have like, I take like a deep breath, and I kind of like, keep my mind like focused, right? Like what you practice for, right? And you gotta also like overcome your fears, right? Like one thing about like a lot of things that you could even use in life, like when you're afraid of something, you have to overcome it, right? So you have to fight your fears, right? So you have to like not look at like, okay, this person is like this and that. You gotta look at it as like, okay, what did I strategize for this character, right? and then you want to strategize versus the character, and then you want to try to understand how the player wants to play the game, like what he's trying to do. And you want to try to like force him to play your game, right? While actually countering whatever character he's playing. So you want to have those things in mind, right? And you want to kind of like regardless of top player, god player, whatever or not, you still want to test them regardless, man. You gotta test them like what they know. Like even if they know everything, you still want to like, where are you at right now? You want to just like you want to talk to them in game, like where you at right now? Like are you trying to end the game quick? Are you trying to play it slow? Like whatever like idea you get from like their language in the game. You just all right, cool, let's do that. You know what I mean? Like let's play like that, right? And you kind of like you play them on their game, but they're actually playing your game, right? So you kind of like manipulate what they're doing. And then you force your.
So you don't ever feel like, oh my god, I'm about to play somebody who can out manipulate me. You just feel like I'm gonna get in the game and I'm gonna do my thing.
I'm gonna figure out how they want to play the game, and then I'll have my answer ready. Because you have to have a balance of everything. You have to have. I feel like when you're, especially in 2 out of 3 format, you kind of have to really know like what the player is trying to do, like how he wants to play.
So you take it on more as you're not scared. You take it more as a challenge. You're like, this is good. This is going to be a good challenge. Take a deep breath. Let's go.
And just play. Focus on like your objective. Like.
That's
regardless of whoever it is, focus on your objective. Whatever objective you had coming into this event, regardless if it's winning or stuff, focus on that. You should be expecting that you was going to run into these players anyway. You was expecting to win, correct? So these guys are winners. So you have to plan. You have to plan these things, You can't just go in there and not having a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you're just going to be lost, and you're just going to like lose to yourself.
Plan is another good one. I lack a plan whenever I play. I lack a plan, so that's something that I will work on myself. But I think that's really important because without a plan, even like sports, when I watch some of my favorite sporting teams, you can see when a team doesn't have a plan, it's fucking shambles. But when a team comes out with a plan, they know exactly what.
They look so structured, and you're like, wow, this is a amazing team.
All right, so. This is I don't know if you have the answer to this one or not, but like you played a lot of fighting games. What's your favorite fighting game of all time and why?
All time? 4. Street Fighter 4.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm like looking at you going anime fighter, right? Like I was even thinking in my head, what am I going to title this? Kizzie Kay anime fighter, and then like I mean, technically Street Fighter kind of actually is. Well, some people would disagree with this, but like I mean, it comes from Japan. It's got it does have an anime.
It had an animated series.
It had an anime. It's done in a certain specific art style.
It's still on Netflix.
It was a specific art style. But so 4, why 4? Just a lot of good memories.
Good memories, and I feel like the drive to like improve was like so. It was so like fresh.
Okay.
Like it was like a battlefield. Like when you went to a different coast. You played for like you played with heart, and you played for your like scene.
Okay,
right?
I love that. Yeah.
And if you're a sponsor, you play for your sponsor too.
Okay.
And and everybody always wanted to come for you, man.
Gotcha. What do you think is the biggest? I should have asked. I should have told you about this question beforehand because for some people I think this is a difficult question. But what is the biggest sacrifice you feel you've made for fighting games?
I want to say time.
And what do you feel like? Because I've done the same. Everyone who's ever chasing anything is going to sacrifice time, and it can be with family, it can be with friends, it can be with relationships, it can be doing other things. Like, what is there anything on your mind where you're and this isn't a I regret session, but it's sort of like it just to let people out there know when you're chasing something, you definitely have to make sacrifices. So what sort of things do you feel like you sacrificed?
I would say like more of my social life.
Okay.
Not really much because like when you go to an event after you're done, you have like people with the same interests around, right?
Yes.
But in terms of like, say for example, my friend would be like, hey man, this weekend let's go to the bar, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm traveling to like Orlando. I can't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I missed that little time that like my friend had.
Yeah.
Because I'm traveling out to a different state.
Well, as a pro player, you are doing what a lot of people do in entertainment, which is they're working in the weekends when everyone else has got time off.
Right.
You know,
it's the opposite. Right?
And when you have time off, it's like no one wants to do anything.
Right.
Because they're working.
Right. But luckily, I have like a handful of friends when like, say for example, on the Tuesday, we were like, hey man, you guys want to all get ramen and just talk? You know, we go out and we get dinner together. And we just talk, you know what I mean? We have a little good time and stuff. It only be for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I think 2 hours out of a week, just able to do that is fine, man.
You know what I mean? Some people don't even get that. I think that's good. And you're a very sociable and likable guy, I think. So
thank you, man.
I'm sure you have a lot of fun doing that. Now, talking of life in general, outside of fighting games, do you find time? We just talked about sacrificing time. But you make a little bit of time for your friends. Do you find time for are there any other things like passions or hobbies or stuff like that you got going on?
So I started actually getting back into swimming.
Swimming?
Yeah,
okay.
That's actually my thing, dude.
So
I've been swimming a lot. I've been hanging out a lot with my sister because she's been trying to like get into like sports and stuff.
Cool.
So I've been like kind of like actively with her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As another thing, as far as like, you know, swimming and stuff like that, I wanted to start playing basketball again.
Oh yeah, man.
But I have to find a group of people.
Yes.
You know, that's the hardest part, man.
It is
finding a dedicated group of people to go back and play. So as far as that, just swimming. I actually been like starting to swim like occasionally, like one time every 2 weeks.
It feels like a very West Coast thing because you've got the weather throughout the year to do it.
West Coast thing. My bad, Mr. Bourne.
No, I mean like I'm East Coast. I also just don't swim. But like on the East Coast, like if you swim in the winter, you got to go indoors, obviously, unless you're like one of those guys who likes to jump into the ice water every day.
I'm a little bit of both.
You're a little bit of both?
I'm a little bit of both. Sometimes one of those days you're like, you know, it's cold outside. Let's jump in this water. You jump in the water.
I mean, how cold? Where do you live? You live here.
Hey man, look, 67 is kind of cold, man. You know, 67 is a little cold over here. Dude. A little cold over here.
All right, you need to come spend a winter. You need to come spend a winter in New York sometime.
I'll pass. Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's what everybody says. Okay, here's one for you. Do you have a quote or a mantra that you live by?
So my dad told me this.
Okay.
He said, "Don't ever be left. Keep your mind right."
Wait, say that again.
Don't ever. My bad. He said, "Don't ever be left. Keep your mind right."
What does it mean?
Like, you know, like when you're focusing on something. He told me. He said, when you're focusing on something, like don't ever feel like because you're focusing on something different that you're left out. Like you're left. Like you're left. You're gone. Like you're not in the right like mind. Like because no one else is doing what you're doing. Keep your mind right.
Okay.
Because you want to tell yourself that this is the right thing you're doing.
So don't be overly concerned about others or what others are doing or others are saying. If you are focused on something and it feels right, go for it.
Go for it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
And you know, when I was young, I didn't know. I was like, what?
What the hell is he talking
about?
What
are you talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so it's been very important to me for today.
Quotes and mantras, like that's why I ask it now, I think are important, especially for people who are doing things like this. Because it's not easy to go, you know what, I'm going to be a pro gamer, because you have to go all in. Because it's not like, I mean, there are a few talented people out there who can sort of do their thing and then just be a pro gamer for some unknown reason. But most people have to go, okay, if I'm going to do this, I've got to go all in. And if I go all in, that means like, maybe I can't do this, go down this career path, or maybe I can't, you know, spend all my time with my friends doing X, Y, Z, whatever. You have to make those sacrifices like we talked about. And I think that quote is a really, really good one. Is there anything else that we didn't touch upon, a topic that you want to talk about?
I think everything's been pretty...
I'm sure we'll talk again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the more, now that I've got hey everyone, I've got a stream now. Just started 2 weeks ago. I'll promote that during Kizzie's interview and probably every other interview. But now that I'm now starting to do interviews, I can do them online as well. They're not as good as being in person, but they're something. And,
right.
And I've always got questions for people, so I'm sure we'll talk again. But for now, I think, where can people find you?
They can follow me on Twitter at Kizzie_K, KAY310. They can follow me at Twitch at Kizzie Kay 310 altogether. And those are my two medias that I'm using for now.
I'll get the links. The links will be down below.
Yep.
But just want to say it's been a pleasure.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was really good. It's
fun. We got to test out all the new equipment and everything.
Yeah, I was actually a beta, dude.
You were the beta.
I was actually the beta type.
This is
dude.
the beta
it's
interview.
crazy,
so
man.
hopefully it all works out. So we're gonna close out now, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
See you later.